Here we are, the Hunch, or Joe Marler, because not many people know you're called the Hunch, due to your Quasimodo back.
What's
Just
this?
got in there early. Just got in there really
Ben,
early.
I know it's been a while since I've been in the studio, but can we be nice to the guests first and then hammer them later? Like probably.
Let's start that again.
Yeah.
3.5 hours up here, and you've already started the character assassination.
It's already just...
Yeah,
it's
all right.
right
It's
in
the
view.
chair.
Right.
They've already done that.
I feel so flustered now.
I know, yeah. I don't know what to do, do you?
No, right. Here we go.
I'm not going to give you anything.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm right.
How's the foot?
Broke.
Right.
Any...
Good episode, that. Cool.
I don't know how to be around you guys. I know how to be around you, like
In Begonia.
in Begonia, sapping the life out of the world.
Yeah.
But
If you
you
wanna,
two as
if you wanna
podcasters,
make yourself more comfortable and do what you normally do and take your clothes off, that'd be fine, mate.
And get a box of mini rolls.
I'm fucking gutted you, but I know I should have bought them because I always bring the goodies.
You did always do the contraband. So.
Yeah.
Crisps on the old chest hair.
Right, so it's just carried on. Is this whole episode named Character Assassination of Me?
I think
Yeah.
we've actually discussed
See,
that.
the thing is,
episode
we'll
already.
hammer you until you start answering the questions in full.
I don't know whether to take this as like a media, you know, sometimes when you go back and forth with the media just to be shitty to them.
You do.
But you're my mates, but now you're media.
So are you?
Am I?
Yes.
Yeah, but not about rugby.
Oh, right, okay.
So like, that's just rugby media.
Yeah.
I'm all right, lads.
Yeah,
I'm buzzing to be here.
it's good to have you here.
I'm buzzing to see you guys. I'm buzzing that you've become so successful.
That we've got our own. We've got a
The
new
whole
set.
set is incredible.
It's good, isn't it?
The whole setup is amazing. Get in here. Leicester train station's nice.
Do you think?
Yeah. Well, it's better than Tunbridge Wells.
Never been there, so I couldn't give you a full report. But
Yeah. So I've made more effort to come and see you guys than you've made to come down to,
Tunbridge Wells, is that
Tunbridge
where you live?
well, near there.
We're still waiting for that barbecue that you've promised
Yeah.
for the last 10 years after every campaign that we've ever done together.
It's an open barbecue. It's an open invite. You turn up, I'll do a barbecue.
But basically, Joe would always invite the entire squad.
No, I wouldn't. No, this was Elliot's gig. Like he was like, "We're doing a barbecue at yours. We'll bring the meat." But I said, "Yeah, fine, bring it." And it's been going on for 10 years now. Every time I come into camp, they're like, "When's the barbecue?" I went, "It's a fucking open invite. Come when you want. I won't be there."
Kev Sinfield's going to come down for it, isn't he? Kev was going to come down for Leeds for his barbecue. And he got really excited until he found out that it wasn't actually on.
It's just like ongoing
Yeah.
10-year joke. Mate, in all seriousness though, how is the injury? Are you a good rehabber?
Okay, no, I'm not a good rehabber. Like the physio's faces when I got injured, they were like, "Fucking hell, can you just pack it in again so we don't have to rehab you back to health?" And I was like, "Okay, fine." It's slow. It's very slow. I don't seem to have stuck to the compliance of non-weight bearing for the first 4 to 6 weeks.
Are you on your own rehab plan, or are you?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Have you had your 5 weeks off?
Yeah,
How were they?
they were great.
Did you get actually 5 weeks, or because you probably missed that last week of tour, didn't you? Was that classed as one of your weeks? Or was that...
Officially, I was meant to go back in on the 12th.
Right.
So a week earlier than the other boys on the tour. But I managed to say, look, it was a really intense week coaching that week. You know, looking after the young guys on tour. Mainly just going for coffees with Coley because no one else would go with him.
Correct.
So I managed to get my whole 5 weeks, yeah. The best bit was Daisy wasn't desperate for me to come home when I got injured.
Yeah.
I rang her and was like, "I'm injured, I'm out, I'll just come home." She was like, "Really?" I went, "What do you mean? You're at home with the kids on your own?" She was like, "Yeah, well," I was like, "Is the plumber around?" "A lot." She went, "No, I just want you to get all like your twattishness out your system in New Zealand and then come back and just help me normally." So I had a great time off. It was great. Did festivals.
I can say I did your festival because you had a couple of speeches, didn't you?
I wouldn't call them speeches, no.
Really?
Well, they just,
Q&As.
the Q&As, basically. They paid for the festival, so
Okay.
I just went on with that. How are you boys?
Good, mate. Yeah.
Are you back in,
Look how excited he
are
is.
you back in
Good, yeah, I'm
pre-season?
good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Are you in pre-season?
I'm in pre-season.
Is
yeah.
your heart like
My heart's-
fixed?
It's fixed. It's fixed.
All right.
I mean,
Tested it out
you
earlier,
tested
haven't
it out early.
Yeah,
Real surprise.
I did forget about that. What if you'd have keeled over and died? It would have made good content.
But no, fine. Heart's all fixed. I'm all good, mate. Back into pre-season.
Loving
Check
it?
has arrived. He's good. Like him.
Is he good?
Yeah, he is.
Coley, is he good?
Yeah. Pre-season.
Hang on. You're the one asking the questions, and you were moaning
yeah.
at my short answers. I ask you a question back, and you both go, "Yeah."
I've had too many pre-seasons.
Many.
To wait till week 1 or 2 of the season. Pre-season. Everyone has a great pre-season, and sometimes I've had pre-seasons where all you do is run. You get to the first game, you can't win a collision against Fiji in the World Cup. All you do is.
I was in Great Nick.
Yeah. What I was about to say,
Great Nick.
You know what he's referring to there? He's actually referring to we're lining up in the tunnel and we're walking out. Game 1 in the World Cup against Fiji. And we're in our red strip, aren't we?
Yeah.
You've got your shirt tucked in. Don't know why.
I don't know why I tucked it in. I thought, my first World Cup. This is a big moment. I'm going to tuck it in and look the part.
Yeah.
Socks as high as they can go. Shorts pulled up, so I've got a massive camel toe. The hunch, in prime condition. And the darb.
Absolute barrel.
The darbs. Someone took a picture, a screenshot of it coming out on the TV. And the darb just coming over the shorts. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
And how long have we been in camp for?
Fucking years. It was an 8-year fucking World Cup camp. And I was in worse nick than when I started. That's more my fault, I'd say.
But at the same time,
more my doing.
But at the same time, like at that point, you're like, I'm in the best nick I've ever been in. It's only afterwards you're like, oh, fuck.
No, it wasn't after. There was more of that after, but it was more the opening kickoff.
Where the ball goes up.
One of the senior players.
He's underneath it.
He's underneath it, ready,
the ball.
primed, watching the ball. My ball! And then fucking misses it completely. And you go, this is going to be a long day.
That person may or may not be sitting in this room right now.
Yeah, I haven't seen Carly take many high balls.
Do you know what? I think I actually genuinely believe that first 20 minutes against Fiji, was the worst 20 minutes I've ever played in my life. And it all started.
That's quite hard to nail down, actually.
It's a big call.
Fucking hell. How much footage did you trawl through to find? Oh, yeah, it's that 20 minutes.
It all started from that kickoff. But yeah.
Here you are.
Here I am.
The most capped. The second and the first most capped male England rugby players.
But if you think about it though, Joe, you're on 95 caps, right?
Yeah.
Had you not retired 18 times, had you not been cited for a combined, I don't know, over a year maybe, then you probably would be the most capped.
What fun's that though? You two, look how miserable you two look.
I'm actually very happy.
Yeah.
Are you?
Just
It's
inside.
a facade.
Yeah. With 95 though.
95, yeah.
Do you have ambition to get 100?
I never did. I always wanted 27
Why?
because Tim Payne got 26. That was always my barometer. I went, right, he's got 26. I want to get 27. And then when I got 27, I was like, I'm done.
Doesn't matter now.
And that's why
That was the first retirement.
That's why I retired 18 times over the next thing. But I guess now it's closer. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it. But then I've not really been one for milestones ever. I just enjoy playing.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
But you are that close now, so you might as well do it.
Well, yeah. But Daisy told me that I have to stop in December. So it means
You're going to get on 99.
if I did make the autumn squads and play in all 4 games, I'd end on 99.
How good.
Well, I guess it's probably fitting.
It's
really,
easy.
isn't
It
it?
would actually be fitting for you to end on
No,
99.
you'd have to bring up Steve and be like, Steve, can you just play the bar bars or something and make it a capped game for me?
Yeah.
And then just have a one-off at Twickenham.
I'm not sure Steve's
I think for you,
that
he'd give you a
sentimental
one.
where he'd
He'd
go,
give you one
let's just
game.
roll out you for one game. 1 minute off the bench just to get your 100th. I was like, not really bothered, mate. It's fine. He didn't like it when when I thought it was going to be my last game in the World Cup, when it was your last game.
Is
the
this when...
third, fourth playoff.
Oh,
Is this when I went to go do press and I said, I'm going to tell them this is my last game? And you went, Len, can you also tell them that it's my last game? But if you tell them, they'll believe you because I've retired that many times. If I say it,
I can't
they
tell
just
them.
won't know if I'm being serious or not.
Yeah.
And I actually did say, oh, also it's Joe's last game.
I didn't think you'd remember because you don't really remember a huge amount, but you managed to do that one.
You've gone and played another 12 times since or something.
I thought it was going to be. And when Steve was like, oh, how do you feel about thinking? I was like, yeah, I'll have one last run out with my mates. And the face sort of changed of like, it's not really what I'm looking for a World Cup game that you've just turned around and gone, I'll have one last run out with my mates. Because he knows I can't run. So it's just more of a plod out.
Did you started in that last game?
No. He wasn't involved at all, was he?
Well, that's why I suddenly thought, because I was thinking, I don't think you played.
No, I didn't.
The fact that you went,
That's the point of the story.
I would like one
But he
last
spent all
run out,
week-
and he just gone.
Yeah, but he spent all week sulking. He thought he'd like played last game in South Africa. Then he was like, yeah, I'm not going to play. Then everyone else played.
Oh, that's right. And then you were annoyed. Yeah, sorry. No,
I
yeah.
should have said I should have played, but yeah.
So do you regret not playing?
No. I don't really regret. You can't. Can you regret? You know
No, you
when people
can't.
say, oh, you can't have any regrets. I regret wearing a phlegm green T-shirt on my wedding day. But other than that, I can't really say I regret it because you have to learn from the mistakes. And if you say, oh, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have learned, I'd be a bigger dickhead than I am now.
I'm only because I'm thinking, right, Daisy said as of December, so you'd had 4 autumn games, you'd be on 99. But had you just played in that last one, you'd have got the 100, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Maybe I do regret it.
You phlegm T-shirt in that last game. There's two regrets in life.
No, I'm not, mate. I'm not thinking that far. I've got to get fucking walking first.
Yeah.
And it's not really helped by the fact that I've got some shrunken flip-flops on, which were too big for me, and I left them in the sauna and went to put them back on, and they're now too small for me.
Do you enjoy the Steve Borthwick regime? Do you enjoy it? Under
Big Steve?
Yeah, under Steve.
I love Steve. Got a very weird relationship, haven't I, Coley?
You should do, yeah. I've seen messages between him and Steve. We went and played Quins. Do you remember that? We stayed overnight in a hotel. We were playing Quins. And this guy sent Steve a picture of a man sat in a bath full of spaghetti with Steve's head superimposed on the man. It was just like, this is what your mate's been sending me. And I was like, right, who does that? And it's obviously him.
I don't think he likes spaghetti.
Didn't you also message him? Because Steve always goes up on ladders,
Yeah,
like the warm-up.
yeah. This is when he was Leicester coach.
Leicester coach.
Yeah.
And didn't you message him saying, I'm going to push you off that shitty ladder today? Before the game.
That tickled him. Yeah.
Yeah. He replied, please don't do that. And I do remember going over to the warm-up when he was on the ladder and just eyeballing him.
Yeah.
Right? And he was just shaking his head like, please just go away.
Go away.
Please just leave me alone. Just grow up. That's what he was saying.
What's the story with you two? Lions tour. Steve was obviously assistant coach, forward coach on this tour. And you'd basically created a dungeon within your hotel room, you and Coley, rooming together.
Yeah.
And he comes in to check on you.
He was going out for a bike ride.
And weren't you referring to, if my mate, I'm asking because my mate's been quizzing me, if he was to do X, Y, Z, what would...
It was a Queen sound. The boys had been on the drinking the night before. We had a room to. It was like an apartment thing, wasn't it? Doors open, and Steve was basically going out for a bike ride, and he saw me and Marler just sat there. He's like, "Oh, hello guys," and he sort of came in and said, "How's things?" And he's walked in. There's a half-smoked packet of fags on the side, and he's like,
We had guests over.
and he's like, "Whose are these?" And it's like, "Why?" He's like, Steve's like, "I don't think smoking is very good for your health. So whoever it is should probably stop." And he's like, "I'll tell my friend that smoking isn't good for him and we shall leave it there." And Steve was like, "Yes, you should tell your friend that it can do this to him and it's really bad performance." And he's like, "Okay, well, I'll make sure my friend knows." And it was just this, between the two of them, this weird third person conversation. I'm just sat there like,
It's not a weird third-person conversation if we were talking about a third person.
yeah. But we were like, oh, no. Well, we were. Someone was like, his
Who?
friend. It
Were
wasn't me. I had to confirm that it wasn't. I'm not the friend, Steve, just so you know. Steve's like, I know. And then I think he turned around as he walked out. There was just some sick on the floor, wasn't there? Which wasn't us, I'd like to say. But it was just like, oh, no.
And Joe, when you told your friend, how did he take the news, and did he change his ways for the remainder
I
of
see
the tour?
what this show is now. I see what this is. Okay. I passed on that advice to my friend. My friend took his advice, and my friend no longer smokes because he valued Steve's opinion and advice. So my friend is a bit healthier now.
So Joe, I know for a fact that maybe if another coach said that to your friend, he might have said, fuck off to you to relay back.
Yeah, my friend has got a filthy mouth on him.
Because I've seen that friend.
Yeah, that
maybe-
friend, I like what we're doing here. Yeah, that friend probably would have said that, but that friend's got so much respect for Steve and a strong enough relationship with him that he took that on board. And that continues with a lot of things rugby-wise that this friend also values of Steve's.
Where did that value and I suppose respect and all that? Where's that come from? Where's it built?
It probably started when this friend, I don't know, fuck it, I can't do the friend bit.
No, yeah, we're over the friend bit.
Yeah, I know.
I think the listeners have worked out who the friend is.
I've been very public.
I'd be very worried if they haven't.
I used to smoke. I don't smoke. I haven't smoked for a long time, but I was in breach of contract. I'm now no longer in breach of contract, so don't worry about it. Vicarage Road, my respect started when I was playing for Quins against Sarries. Steve was captaining them, and Chris Robshaw wanted to, about the penalty count or something like that, and Steve was already in the referee's ear. So Steve's there, eyeballing Robbo. Robbo then sort of goes up to the referee. I can't remember who was reffing at the time. Goes up to him and was like, "Sir, could you maybe look at them rolling away or doing?" And Steve starts to bolt towards this referee. Gets closer and I just see his fingers and his hand reach for his Optimum scrum hat. He was classic with the Optimum scrum hat. Peel it off his head and just go, "Fuck off, Robshaw." And Robbo was he was quite young in his captaincy at the time, and it was thinking, and I'm watching this unfold. I was like, "Robbo, fucking go back and tell that lanky streak of piss to fuck off himself." And Steve just had the referee wrapped around his finger, that ability to just, and it was an early sort of sign of knowing how influential Steve was based on his knowledge of the game. And then I used to terrorise him. Run around the pitch. I tried doing it to Julian White once because he was my hero growing up. I remember playing Julian White in an A-League game, and all I wanted to do was get punched by Julian White. I was just running around winding him up, trying to please punch me, and he was just he had one cocked, and then just just fuck off. I'm too old for this. Just leave me alone. I was gutted. Anyway, I used to run round after Steve, saying how boring he was, how shit he was. All this lot, and obviously there was the Quins Sarries thing going on, or starting back then. And then Steve leaves, goes and coaches Japan, all that lot, and then 2015 happens. All the coaches get the chop, and Steve gets announced as forwards coach. And so doubling up on how bad I was at that World Cup, how shit a nick I was in, and now the bloke that I had called shit continuously and how bad a rugby player he was for the last 2 or 3 years is now the forwards coach of England. I was just well, I'm definitely never playing for England again. I'm completely fucked.
That was the second retirement, yeah.
That was the second retirement. But managed to still get named in that squad, and it was the first week of Steve being the forwards coach. And I think we spoke about it, Coley, of we were blown away by the level of detail he brought and also how nice he was. Like, he would like thank us for our efforts at the end of the session, and I just was like, I just felt so bad for
Being horrible. to him
basically
for 3
bullying
years,
him
yeah.
for 2 or 3 years, or attempting to bully him, and I was like, oh my god, I feel awful. But yeah, my respect levels for him, grew from there.
So it looks like on the back of like a lot of momentum England are building, I certainly was obviously watching you guys on tour and all that. But after the summer tour, obviously Tom Thompson, Alan Walters and Felix Jones departing the England coaching staff. Like, how does that disrupt you? What's your thoughts on that? Obviously great coaches that are going. Like, does that change everything again?
Oh yeah, it's definitely disappointing. Felix, like Alid, first of all, TT, he's been there years. He started back in 2014, 2015 for that World Cup, was it?
Yeah, 14 I think he came.
Great bloke, great S&C, did a lot with mainly the backs, but I love him to bits. And yeah, there's obviously a change there. Alid leaving, yeah, he's got the Ireland gig, isn't he? And I think his wife's Irish, based in Ireland, logistics, all that side of things. And then the Felix one sort of came out of the blue a little bit, but which is gutting because he's really good. Like, he's a very, very good defence coach. Well, coach in general. And the defence had been going well for us. It has really started to sort of pay dividends from that. But they've made their choices, haven't they? Like, they've all got individual reasons why they want to move on or do something different, and you have to respect that. I don't think it's a fair reflection that the narrative that's being pushed is Steve's and Eddie 2.0 and the environment is being repeated, because the environment is worlds apart from what Eddie's became towards that second half of Eddie's cycle, which was dark at times. I know you've got a lot of respect for the Big Beeve. I also have a lot of respect for the Big Beeve. But there were some parts of his environment that I questioned to him, questioned around him, that are nothing like what Steve has created now. So for the coaches leaving, I don't know. You'll have to get them on your podcast.
I think as well,
Boys.
it's like you look at Alad, he normally stays for 2 or 3 years in some spot. Like he was at Leicester for a couple of years before that, South Africa for a couple of years. Like Felix has been at Munster. I think coaching in some regards is becoming a bit more transient. Not say transient's probably the wrong word, but I think good coaches are going to be in demand no matter what, and they can have their pick of things. And I think with England especially, every time for the past however many years it's been, there's always been somebody has changed, and then the environment, whether it's the doctor, the masseuse, or a trainer or anything, there's always been changes, and the coaching, the management staff always constantly evolves to try and get the best out of it. So I think it's just unfortunate 3 have gone at the same time, but I don't think and again, you have to ask them about their own personal lives and that kind of stuff, because, Alad is, he's got links to Ireland and that kind of stuff. So I don't think it's a reflection on so much the environment, but it's the risk you run, I guess, when you get the best people involved in the game. If England want the best coaches, you could probably have an Englishman who could be there for 10 years, but are they going to be the best for the environment? Or do you roll the dice and go, actually, I want the best coach like a Felix, like an Alad, knowing that they aren't English, they don't have that emotional connection to the players, they do, but to the actual team, to England itself, don't have that emotional connection. So there are other jobs that they might want. And you know what I mean? Like, to ask them you probably want the best coaches, but you run the risk of losing them after a couple of years. What can you know what I mean? It's about the fine balance as a coach and a Steve and his setup that he's got there. Then Steve will have, if there's one bloke that'll sort it out with the plans, it's Steve. But if you want the best, you might have to run the risk of them not staying with you because also you do well at international level. Like, the next step for a defence coach at international level is like a head coach at somewhere, isn't it? Also, there's always going to be personal ambition to evolve. I mean, if you're happy just being a defence coach at a country for 10 years, then you know what I mean? It takes a special person to go, or special. It takes a certain personality to do that, and those are the ones you want in the environment. I don't know.
I just look from the outside. You think if losing Alad and losing Felix, like, they're very hard to replace because they're that good. And I know Felix was obviously doing the defence, but equally did attack for South Africa for a number of years, so he can do both sides of the ball. and you're then starting to build towards something, and there was genuine excitement about where the team was going. And I'm not saying it's gone, but when you lose 2 quality guys like that, like to try and find replacements to their caliber, that's going to be hard. And I think where I can sort of vouch for it is up to 2019 under Eddie, we had brilliant assistant coaches. Steve, Mad Mitch, John Mitchell, that is. Flood, Hats. We had Scott Wisemental. But obviously, after 2019, those guys all went.
Oh, hang on. What about Wisey?
Legend.
Mate, when he, whenever we'd get in a lift.
Oh, yeah.
And he'd insist on a fight.
Basically, if you got in a lift with him, and as soon as the door closes, it was
no holds barred.
No
you
holds
just
barred.
go for it until the doors then open. Then you have to just be like,
walk out casually.
I absolutely used to love doing that. And until I got in a lift when Daisy and Felix, who's a few months old, came out for that thing.
You didn't.
I got in a lift there, and I was like, well, why is he usually we're meant to go to
Was Wisey also in the lift?
Yeah, Wisey was
It
in
wasn't
the
just
lift.
you, Daisy, and Felix.
Why did you always insinuate?
Well, you didn't mention he was there. I was just Daisy. I'm sorry.
And by the way, I mean Felix, my son, not
Yeah.
Felix Jones.
Yeah.
For some reason,
Sorry,
in
I had a
2019
3-month-old
in his South
Felix
African
Jones
kit,
in the
just
lift,
beating him up.
and instead of having a fight, he just sniffed the back of Felix's head for about 3 minutes.
Perfect.
Wisey, you couldn't have weirded out my wife anymore, but well played. Anyway, yeah, we had great assistant coaches.
Well, we did. And then after 19, of course, they all went, Steve went to Leicester. Mitch moved on. He stayed for a little while, then he moved on. Hats moved on. Like, so all the, Wisey left. And you almost expect that after a World Cup cycle. And I just looking at it from the outside, like to leave with only World Cup's still only a couple of years away now. And you're sort of building towards something. It's sort of, you normally expect that to see after 27. So I'm just saying from the outside, it's kind of hard to now rebuild halfway through.
Yeah, but in some regards, I don't think it's a rebuild. It's
Not a build,
just
but are the coaches
reload in
coming
some
in?
regards. So, yeah, but Steve will the trick, I guess, is as an international coach, you probably always have to look out, have your ear to the ground on who's a good coach and who's out there and what's the availability of them without pissing off the coaches you've already got. You know what I mean? So it's that balance of finding it. But England, Steve sets the regime at the top. It's not like he went out and got Felix because that was the defence he wanted to run. It wasn't the fact that it's like, oh, well, give the job to you run your defence. It was the defence that would integrate into the attack and to integrate the whole picture. So I'm sure Steve or the RFU and stuff will work out who's they want to run, the defence they want to run, find the person who can run it, and how it integrates with everything else we do. It's not just like, a subcontract to get somebody in to run it. And that's how it will
I
fit.
get your point.
My point is 2019, all the best coaches went, and then we couldn't replace them to the level of which we've already had. And my view is now you've lost Allard, you've lost TT, you've lost Felix.
But there could be an
can you
argument
replace
that
them to the same level? And I'm not sure you
prior
can.
to that, there were better assistant coaches out there. But it worked for that period. Although arguably you could say it didn't work because we bombed it when we needed it. So as happy a time we had in Japan and amazing, we still fucking bottled it.
We did have a good time though, didn't we?
We
had a great time.
It was a great time. But there could have been change. There was plenty of change as well. A lot of staff that would change going into that. But your point about a fan on the outside going, we were getting excited about this England team building. They were starting to do something. The way the defence was going, the attack was building nicely. Are those fans sitting there getting that excitement from who's coaching them, or are they ultimately getting excited from the players that are on the pitch putting what's out there? Now I know you go, well, the coaches are help and are responsible for assisting in putting that out there, but there's enough talent in that squad, young talent and still some old talent, to be able to sort of take the best bits that Alid brought, that Felix brought, that TT brought themselves, and then hope that whoever comes in will be able to assist the players again. Because ultimately, it's us that go out on the pitch and try and produce it, don't we?
Yeah. And the environment as well comes from, I think, like we're at Leicester. I think we'll go back to Steve again, but Alid is a personality. He keeps it loose. He's brilliant, but he's also allowed to be that personality. I think Steve knows that he's seen as this, so he needs that person to break it up a bit. So, but that's done through almost planning and knowledge rather than just flip a coin and find him. And I think that's, next he'll understand that you can't replace an Allard, but there's certain traits and stuff that either that looseness that other people will have to take on board, or other people in the environment will have to bring that sort of energy, and he'll find a way of replacing it.
Do you think he'll replace Allard with Hask?
Do you remember that weight session?
They brought Hask in to do
it was like
DJing.
that was ages ago. Sorry, I thought you meant as in recently they brought him in.
was that 2019? Do you remember it was World Cup? He came in to do a weight session, didn't he?
He blew everyone's arms out.
Yeah, but it was like you got
Right, we've got
20
Hask in.
yeah.
He's coming in to take weights today. I was like,
It's a 20-minute pump, and it was like, right, you're going to do press ups, and it's going to be a 10-second eccentric, 1 second up, 1 second at the top. That's 12 seconds. Then it's like you can do 10 reps of that, and then you can do 4 sets of it. And it was like, right, so that's 10 minutes on press ups. Yeah. And I've got 5 other exercises to do in 20 minutes. Oh, I haven't really thought about this. Brilliant, cool. Literally, they made
him wear a staff polo as well, didn't he? He was gutted about that. No, I'm one of the lads. Not anymore.
When you just talked about this young team though, and some veterans, you've had a bit of vice captain lately. Am I right in saying that?
Really good segue from you.
You like that, don't you? Go on, tell me more. Vice captain. What does it entail?
I've no idea.
Well, how did he ask you?
I don't think he did.
Oh, you just self-proclaimed, like Haas did in the tour to Australia. Did you? I think you retired at that point. You came to that one.
I was there,
tour to Australia. I was going to face this way because you were retired. When Haas gave himself man of the series, even though there wasn't that official award.
Did he give himself man of the series for one tackle?
He created this,
which
like,
in hindsight
narrative.
is an illegal tackle.
Yeah.
The Bocock was off his feet.
Off his feet, yeah. Tackle in the air. But yeah, can you remember that? Self man of the series.
Yeah, no, I was vice captain, Ben. Thanks for bringing
one
that
of
up.
the vice captains.
I was one of a few vice captains.
Well, how many was there?
I think there was 5. I think Steve was covering all bases, just all situations. Right. Out of the 5, I was 5th. But yeah, those titles or those actual official things don't really sit well with me too much. It was like when I was captain at Quins. Jesus Christ, that was a bad year.
Do you remember when we did the coin toss? And
what is coming out your mouth here?
No, we did the coin toss. Yeah, you were captain.
Yeah.
I happened to be captain for that day for Leicester, and I think I won the toss. And you were like, right, do you have to do what I have to do and go now? Tell the head coach whether we've won or lost, and they decide whether we're kicking off or receiving. I was like, yeah, I'll go to ask Cockers now, and I'll be back in 2 minutes and let you know what we're doing.
It's pointless, isn't it?
They should do it themselves.
We'll make a decision. Go back. We've decided you're not doing that. Go back and tell them the opposite. It's fine.
That was the same game. We won a penalty. I think Coley had done you in the scrum, mate, and won a penalty off the scrum, and which you're then just shouting whether I should shot a goal, but if I do that, I'm a bottle job. I should go for the corner.
Yeah.
But you're not going to convert, and like
was your brother playing at the time?
But yeah, he would have probably.
Yeah, well, I would have probably been saying go for the corner, but it would probably be not straight. Yeah, I'd never know which way your brother's looking. Just don't know. What one's the funny eye, Tom? What's one? Fuck off, Marler. I was like, oh God, here we go.
But so what did you have to do though as vice captain? Go on then. Give the listeners a little bit. Did you do nothing?
I did nothing. Like it's just
any decisions, any like
nothing different to what I do.
No.
Usually, you just
got a title.
It's just it's a weird title. I can't really give you any more than that. I know you wanted more from that. I know Steve wrote that or Archie wrote that to try and catch me out on something. There's nothing to get from it.
All right. Well,
They just wanted to keep him engaged.
I'm gonna catch him out on something then.
Let's go with that one. I think he gave it to me mainly to keep me engaged and valued.
It's probably a good idea.
It's fair enough, isn't it?
I'll tell you some of the greatest leadership I've seen from the Hunch.
Go on.
His chase back against Italy.
What? What's he saying?
His chase back against Italy.
Fuck, I'd forgotten about this.
We're playing Italy in the Six Nations. And I can't remember. They've gone a few phases.
You know what you need? You need to actually utilise
We need to have the screen of like the clip. We'll find the clip. We'll give it.
God.
But some of the greatest leadership I've seen of you, Marler, is that chase back against Italy.
I was running in concrete boots, mate. It was tough. I was blowing out my arse. I thought you were going to mention the other time against Italy,
No, that was next.
which is what mainly caused the hunt.
The other great part of leadership I've seen is losing the engagement on a scrum. Would I be saying fair?
It was
to say?
the old school laws. It was the old school.
Tell it.
It was the crouch, touch, pals, engage. And I was early in my career. I think it was the 2013 year.
It was.
In fact, it was. The writing was on the wall then.
And Crofty, I think, was your flanker.
Crofty was my
so you had
flanker,
no
and
chance.
Jeff Parlin was my second row. Coley obviously shotgunning all the weight over his side. And it was the old laws. And crouch, touch, pause, engage, and it was a massive coming together. And I must have been about 110 kilos at the time, which is slightly lighter than what I am now. And I just I lose the engagement, get absolutely folded. I thought I died because my head actually touches my shoelaces. I could see Jeff's face behind. He was like, "Why are you looking at me? How are you looking at me?" Completely folded, and somehow managed to then gather my feet and
Didn't go down, did it?
You basically locked it up again, yeah.
Usually you lose that and your back curls or hinges that much, you hit the deck. But I was so determined to stay up and obviously reduce my height from 6'2" to 5'11" now.
Two of the greatest bits of leadership I've ever seen.
Thank
from
you.
In theory, you should be unbelievable at jackling the ball because the strength that you showed to basically have your forehead on your shoelaces
I actually
and then
think
stand back up.
Sometimes I do get labelled as a jackler just because I look like I should be able to jackal, but I can't.
Get that tortoiseshell over, mate. No one's clearing you out.
Joe,
Dan,
got some questions people want to know the answers to.
can't wait for these.
This is from the Quinn squad. Why don't you train on Mondays?
Really well played.
Thank you.
It's not Mondays.
It's the first training day of the week.
First training day of the week, actually.
Okay.
So if it's a short turnaround,
You're not in.
no, I'm not.
Okay, fine, yeah.
I think I might have abused the system there, but it's.
But someone else has got it now in their contract, haven't they?
No, they do. Well, technically, we won't name the person,
Yeah.
but they actually corrected the mistake they made and worded it as a specific day, so that they couldn't do what someone may do, which is take the piss a little bit and.
So if you're playing on a Sunday, for instance,
Yeah.
you normally have Monday off, and the first training would be a Tuesday.
And then they'd train on a Thursday.
Yeah.
If it was a Friday game or a Saturday game.
Yeah.
So then sometimes that person may only train on a Thursday.
Yeah. Perfect. Anyway, so
Didn't Julian White have that at Leicester?
No, Julian White in his final years used to come in at like he'd be in the gym at like 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
Deadlift like the entire gym, and then he'd leave and we'd all turn up and it'd be like, but if the coach, he'd do that a couple of times, might do like a watt bike or something in between on like a Thursday, but he was just on a sort of like a retainer in some regards where it's like, if we need you this weekend, Julian.
Oh, I
we'll
see.
ring him up, Monday, like Steve, Cox would ring him up like the week before and say, we're probably going to need you for this game. Castro's away or something like that. Then he'll come in and do it.
Sounds like a great gig.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the ideal.
Come in and lock it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah. So he trained a bit more than you do, does he?
Sounds it.
Yeah. But you are known for your love of the gym, Joe. Yes?
I do enjoy the gym, yeah.
You have a home setup?
I do have a home gym, yeah.
What's your favourite bit of equipment?
Don't come at me like mocking me just because I like going to the gym.
I'm not mocking you.
Because you fucking jumped on that bandwagon, mate. Every time
What?
you'd see me doing like extra arms at the end, you'd be like, all right.
You used to go for a pump in the evening. You took-
Can I jump on that?
can't
And he was
straighten
like,
my
yeah.
arms.
He
I
started
can't-
doing curls
I did,
with me.
but
Coley doing
they've actually
curls.
have a week off and they've disappeared. My 14-inch guns, like my wrists thicker than my arms. But yeah.
Just always made me die because you're like a potato with 2 bits of spaghetti in.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's like, Coley, you are a massive human.
It's all
You
in my,
need massive arms.
No, it's just in my arse and darb, mate. That's where all my weight. I'm a head. It's in my head, arse and darb. I've got no calves, no arms. So yeah.
Also, a big part of it is maintaining mass. And I know you're both going to take the piss, but I'm not a big person.
Right.
You're massive.
No.
Your
no,
depth.
No. Yeah. My depth is built. I'm not a big person. If I was to like stop training, or when I do stop training, I get arms like Coley, like, and a proper skinny fat man. I've got no legs. You can see I've got no fucking legs. Yes, I've got a hunch, but like it just falls off me, and I'll just have this like squidgy belly, like all at the front here, and I'll end up being like 110 kilos. I'm not like a big. I know that sounds stupid, but I do it. I need to maintain mass because when I don't, I drop down to like 118, 119 with all the running I do and all the cardio.
But you do strike me as someone that when you finish, that you'll carry on lifting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what will be your weight? Are you going to go really north, or
no?
You're saying that naturally you wouldn't be as heavy as you are.
There's part of
but when
me,
you're retired, you can obviously indulge a little bit more.
There's part of me that I don't think you can indulge much more than if I.
Well, not if you're having 12 packs of quavers in bed, Joe. No. I know that's confidential, but it's not now.
Proper out with uni today.
It was 10 packs, you did. And I did brush my teeth after.
Oh.
I don't know. There's part of me that would like to go down the route to see if I could get shredded or ripped. Do you know what I mean? Like, see if I have got abs. And then I go, that's fucking way too much effort. And then you have to really you got to diet and basically got to fucking put effort into that. And then I think it more suited to my lifestyle of just training and just eating loads. So maybe more realistic to get up to like 130, which I'm miles off.
What's 140 at the minute? Eh?
I think we've spoken about it before, to be fair. I think we brought up before about how you used to weigh in before games. And I used to always giggle with you because I'd go like test them out and come back, but that's not good. Like we enjoyed our Friday, biscuits, goujons and all that. And I'd get on them and be like, oh, that's not good. And I'd sit down. And sometimes the S&C would be guarding the scales, wouldn't they? And you'd be sat there refusing to get on there. And eventually you'd get on there when no one was looking and you'd tell me the information. But what is the heaviest you've weighed on a match day?
No, it was always 120 kilos.
Oh, yeah.
On match day.
5 weeks running.
The heaviest I've ever been.
Yeah, what's the heaviest you've ever weighed in at?
131 kilos. And that was bad. Like I said, I can't. Coley's got the frame to hold 130 kilos. Hasn't it? He's looking very lean as it is, but he's got a big enough frame to be able to get away with that. That picture of the World Cup is a prime example of not being able to hide 131 kilos anywhere. It's just a massive blob. So that's the heaviest I've been. But
I think some of it was the red shirt, mate.
Yeah, it was the red. We're playing the shirt.
The angle of the camera, mate, doesn't do you any favours.
Plus it adds 10 pounds. Look how fat we all look on this YouTube. What?
I just had flashbacks of horsefly.
You got to stop this. People don't understand these things that happened. It's not even funny. It's not even funny.
Let's go back to it. Let's just...
What's the matter? He was so angry.
So when you're in great shape in 2015, that was the 8-year... It felt like the 8-year pre-season.
Maybe that's what kick-started it. That I went, oh, look how bad I look in 2015. Maybe I need to go to the gym a little bit more.
But when you were in that bad shape... Sorry to keep bringing it up. But we were in Denver and we went down the river.
Oh, so with launchers?
Halfway down...
Mate, you've got to get slosh on.
Yeah, we have to.
You'll also have to get a reinforced chair. The slosh. Just sloshes from side to side, just knocking everything over. Doesn't even realise he's knocking shit over. Oh, sorry.
We'd basically got halfway down the river and then stopped for a little bit of like a refuel or something. And you insisted on walking around. So we're all in these life jackets. And you insisted on shouting horsefly and slapping people as hard as you could.
The first time it wasn't. Like, he just slapping
people.
I think we spent the pre-season just slapping people. And then it got to the point where Launch had his arm out and he hit Launch so hard on the tricep. Launch like, what'd you do that for? It was like, you had a horsefly because he was going to flare up. He's like, why didn't you just
I've never
flick
seen
it off?
Launchers so angry. Yeah, when he said, why did you just flick it off? It's like, fuck me.
From then on it became horsefly. Yeah, it was just everyone like, horsefly. Poof.
There's a question here from Ken Young.
Ken Young. Big Ken.
How do you transfer all that gym work into running?
That's from Ken Young, is it? Show me that message from Ken Young. Ken Young. Okay. How do you transfer the beauty of rugby is that it is a game for all shapes and sizes and abilities. And that includes people that can't run as well as other people. So I'm not a very good runner. I'm not a runner, Ben. Fuck off.
I will give you a massive compliment though. You are a big hitter. You can bang.
I can bang.
And you caught him the other season, didn't you? Went viral.
Yeah, I did see this. Your description of me tackling Coley, and then your description of how I tackle is like a fly hitting a windscreen going down a motorway.
Yeah.
Like that, the imagination level it took for you to come up with that description, I'm not knocking it. I think it's a great imagination. But actually think about that as a compliment. Oh, he can hit like a fly hitting a windscreen.
No, you're the car.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
I was the fly.
That means I only...
Not Coley wasn't the fly on that. I just meant
That
in
means
general.
I only hit small people.
Because they come... was it the World Cup semi-final, memory lane, and you came on yourself like last 20 minutes, and you didn't have the ball at the end, and Sonny Bill's carried it, and you've absolutely
melted
you two have absolutely boomed him.
Yeah, no, well,
double whammy.
At the time, I thought that's the
Sonny
best shot
Bill
of my
what?
international career. It's the best minute of our international careers. I thought we'd melted him because it was like he basically got the ball. They're playing around. He looked at me and you, didn't he? And he's just made a beeline straight for it, and we whacked it. Little did I know he'd actually got up high and offloaded it out the back. And
Yeah,
just
he got
taken the tackle.
offload away.
But the best part is they go a bit, I think, a couple of faces wider. I think it's Ardi Sarvea comes back inside, doesn't it? He runs, and he gives it this big goose step, and he hits the hunch, and then just the ball just pops out. I think it gets to me.
Faz
But
misses
I get the ball. I'm like, oh, what do? I give it to Faz, and then Faz is like, right, I'll kick this off, and he kicks it. He gets hit,
cramp.
and the ball just goes up in the air, comes back down, doesn't even go out. Everyone's like, and then thankfully it came back for the knock on. But that hit on Surveyor, where I think he gives it the big goose, and he's literally like,
That's my
the ball
point.
just pops out. It's genius.
The amount of times
You
Coley's
hit
played
seriously
that 90
hard now.
seconds of that semi-final.
I'm literally like, this is our best.
This is
bit of
our
rugby.
best ever thing.
This is
brilliant.
Yeah,
But
but
it
you
is.
making a big hit and me panicking and give it to Faz to not kick off.
But I mean it in the most respectful way. You're basically standing in the middle of the field, not moving, laterally great, but you've got the middle locked down and all shapes and sizes.
They want to
This
run.
is all-
Anyone
this-
comes
yeah,
down the
yeah,
guts,
I'm here.
they're getting folded.
Don't take this for him because he's also like, oh, after that game, he's like, oh, do you remember Coley, you're on the outside and you got done the winger, did you on the outside and absolutely skinned you? I'm like, no, I don't remember that. It's Willie Hines, this fucking idiot. Willie Hines was like, no, it was me, mate. He's like, oh, right.
Sorry, mate.
Don't know who's that insulted more.
Yeah, precisely.
But on that, you enjoyed the physical part of the game. Obviously, you've been a front row and all that. But tackling,
Yeah.
let's say you seriously hit. Is
I
that
love
something you learnt to do? Something you've always loved doing? Just a little insight into that. Is it mindset? What is it? And your depth. So you're a big
Mindset
piece
and
of
depth.
kit.
I love the defensive side of it. I love the tackling, the physical nature of it, and being able to. And there's also less to it, in the sense of having to catch a ball is a skill, albeit a basic skill. But there's some people
Some can't do it.
that can't do it.
It's a tough skill.
So then have to find a different point of difference. And it also came down to the fact that during the last 8 years England career, you've got someone like Mako who comes in, who's unbelievable with the ball in hand, his running lines, his attacking ability, and you go, right, well, I can't do what he can do, so how do I then make a point of difference to complement Mako or the boys that can do that in the squad, or give me an advantage or a different thing in terms of bringing something to the squad. And it's just the fact I love it. I just love melting people. One of my favourites is when you guys were at the Stoop and your brother was running a back peel. You were running a back peel and gave it to your brother coming around the corner, and he's like, he's a decent running former centre, wasn't he? Loves it, and he's got some depth. Fucking hell, he's still got some depth now.
Yeah,
When did I see it? I saw him the other. Fucking depth on
He's
him.
gone north a bit.
Oh,
Yeah, he's heavy.
he's heavy.
Yeah.
He's on your gym plan, is he?
He's
I'll sort him out with the programme.
he's 2015 heavy.
And he came round the corner like head down, and I just axed him straight at the spokes. And he was like, "Fucking hell, Marler!" And it hurts. It fucking hurts to tackle. But I don't know. There's a weird perversion in me about tackling, not anything else. Just a weird perversion.
Just to clear
Just
it up.
tackling.
Just tackling.
About tackling. That sort of likes putting it in there. I don't know. I just really enjoy it. I think there's also a lot to be said to your teammates if you're willing to put your head where it hurts, that you're sort of saying to them, you're committing to this, you're doing it for the team. I love tackling.
And just asking for a friend, and if that player doesn't put his head in the spokes, what do you think of those type of people?
Coward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Business decision, mate. I do think though, let's say we spoke Courtney, like say you courts like George Martin stuff, like you obviously enjoy it, but also there is something that I don't think can, like timing wise, you can train as much as you want possible. I'm not trying to put people off, but like there's something like the big hitters in the game just know, like it's like a God-given talent of being able to get height change, power, feet in the floor, and actually transmit force through the opposition to stop them, isn't there? Like you can do as much training as you want, but there's something that I think the top 1-2% of hitters, just something they could do, which whether it's genetic or learnt, whatever, but others can't, no matter how hard you try.
Even you think of all the great sevens, right? But then who's the best hitter? It's Underhill by a mile. And you don't really know what, but it's the timing. It's the, and it's cold. It's cold.
It's like George Martin. You watch clips of him where he's basically stood upright, he stands up from a breakdown, someone runs at him, and he's able to sort of drop his height and level change and hit underneath them and stop them after they've had a massive run up. He's moved and not moved, and he's won the collision. And you're like, there's something about
there's
timing.
Also a fair amount of fear. For me, I'm driven by fear in that regard of going, oh my God, it's either you or me that is going to win this collision, and I'm a little bit scared that if I don't melt you or win this collision, you're going to run over the top of me, and I'm going to look like more of a prat than I already do with this stupid mohawk on my head. So that's what, like, I'm going to fucking end you because I don't want you to end me, because it can quite easily happen several times, can't it, Ben? Where you just become a speed bump to someone.
Yeah, I know all about that.
So apart from rugby, Joe, you got any other interests?
Well, apart from the 4 kids, my wife, the commute back and forth to work, haven't really got time to fart, but somehow squeeze in doing a podcast, which you have... Are you all right? What's the matter with you?
I just suddenly thought,
Here we go
when
again.
you said commute, right?
Oh, fuck.
There was a time
Not the TIG one.
where you know,
It just pops into your head. What's
you
going
just
on
put
now?
a tweet out saying, was it Cobham Services, Trap 4?
On the way to a game.
On the way to a game.
Cobham
Like
Services.
getting ready for a game.
Careful,
Just
Cobham
scrolling and
Services.
it's Joe Marler. Cobham Services, Trap 4. Do not go in. Bad.
I hate to bring this up, lads, but you know I was here like well before you guys were.
Yeah.
Trap 1 in your toilets. The flush isn't quite working, so I'd avoid that one. But I do manage to make time for my podcast. Which
Things people do.
I would like to say that I'm responsible for launching your very successful podcast.
We do owe you a debt of gratitude, yeah. You
Absolutely.
are.
Specifically you, Dan.
Yeah, well,
Ben was already prepped and ready to go, but the training that we had to put into you for the Cauliflower Club, of the little spin-offs we were having of things people do, but the way I used to see your face light up, which is the complete opposite to how you've ever approached any other media. Honestly, you are the most miserable fucker going into media things. Previously, and your mantra must have been like, be as boring as possible and they'll never ask me to do media again.
correct.
But actually, when you get talking on a subject, whether it's, well, especially rugby, but with any subject with this plethora of knowledge that you've got, you're my fountain. I always love diving into you because...
Careful.
Because I know that...
The listeners know you room together for a long time.
I know that I'm going to get something back, out of you somehow. The way you can articulate things, it was just brilliant. And then to see you guys then go on and make this, I was like, okay, well, we did that. And then I was like, no, we didn't. He always had that. We just needed to give him a little nudge to say, you're brilliant. And you are. You are brilliant. You're both brilliant on it.
Due to you, Joe. But enough about me, though, Joe. Keep it coming. But no, it's that's probably like the worst plug of your podcast. Is talking about our podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So your podcast.
Oh, yeah, got a podcast.
Yes. And it's a brilliant podcast.
Well, I think so, yeah.
Do you have a set like this?
No, we don't have quite a set like this.
Okay.
We've been going about 4 years now and we still haven't managed to get a set like this. But don't let that put a negative spin on it. I fucking love doing it. I get to meet all sorts of people. It's about things people do. Basically, it's in the name. You get it. Like, what's your podcast about? It's called For the Love of Rugby. Oh, let me guess. It's about rugby and putting positive spins on things and character assassinating any guest that
Correct,
comes on.
yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Things people do. It's about the things people do, and it ranges from an astronaut to a fucking drainage engineer to a chimney sweep.
Do they approach you, or do you have to go and find them?
A bit of both.
Yeah.
But we get some researchers going out there looking for people with good stories and the ability to storytell. And I love doing it. You know me well, mate. You know over the years how much I hate...
Actually...
Here we go.
Hang
on, the tone's changed.
Belle showed me on Instagram, there was you talking about cars. And it was about...
Cars? Yeah.
And it was on your podcast. And it was steering in a car.
Yeah.
And you
Oh,
didn't know.
Parallel parking. I hate it. I hate it even if someone's not watching. But even if there's just one person watching, I'll then just go round the block. Why do you have to reverse into it?
Because your front tyres are doing the turning. So if you've got the same space and you go front in, your tail's still out.
What?
And then you'll have to shunt back and
My
forth.
back wheels don't turn.
No, they turn forwards, but they don't turn sideways.
They don't turn. They just roll.
So when you steer a car,
Yeah.
it's got four wheels.
Yeah.
Only the front two move.
They're the only ones that tilt. Yes.
F*** off.
We had a driving instructor on.
Driving instructor, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, you steer with the front two wheels. No. All four wheels steer. You didn't realise that cars only steer the front two wheels.
Did you? Sorry. From the start when you went, actually...
Hey, mate, I got to show this clip. I was like...
Actually...
I was like, got to show this clip. I was like...
How are you so thick? That's what you're saying.
I was like...
Did you honestly think all four wheels? So stupid.
Is when he's going to die on this hill? No, all four wheels go. Oh, they do? It's like, no, they're just the front two. What? No, all of them.
All these years.
Yeah, all these years. I know.
You know, you've really hit rock bottom. If Ben Youngs is laughing at me for being thick.
No.
Right. Yes. Well, but that's the point of the podcast, Dan.
I will say modern cars might have four-wheel steering, but like...
Precisely.
Yeah.
But that's the point of the podcast. I get to meet all these different people from different walks of life and get to learn something.
Right.
Like that cars are steered by two wheels. Don't know if it's front or back still.
Yeah.
Have you listened to my podcast?
Of course I have, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoy the
Here we go.
butcher because he's actually local to me. So
Oh, yeah. No, Northfield, is it?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I'm glad. At least I've got two listeners.
So check out Things People Do. It is very, very good. I can vouch for that. I hope you've enjoyed. Like, subscribe to our new YouTube channel. Marler, we'll come and see. We're going to have that barbecue at your place next time. We'll come and see you, mate. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, boys.
Can you come back?
What,
Yeah,
to
actually, it's
this?
easier him
Yeah,
coming here. You
yeah.
come back to us, yeah. We'll barbecue for you.
Indoor barbecue. Isn't that just cooking?
Yeah, something like that.
Grilling. It's just grilling, isn't it? Gas grilling.
Cheers, boys.
Pleasure.